A client reached out to me and told me he has two trading strategies that he uses. One requires extra confirmation before the trade executes, and the other trading strategy does not require any confirmation before the trade will execute. So he asked two business questions for me. He said he would like to know which of the trading strategies will give him more profit percentage, and secondly, he wants to know what month is going to have losses. He can avoid trading during this time. He sent the historical data he has from backtesting his strategies, and he said, Oluwatose, I trust you to analyze this data perfectly. After the analysis, he was able to make informed decision based on the insight generated from the data. And after getting permission from my client to use his historical data for my next tutorial video and he agreed, I thought to share this tutorial with my subscribers. So let's get straight into the video. Alright, so here is the data set we have. This is like for different pair. This is pair B101X, B101X right here. 22, this is 2021. So this is the profits they made. The one with extra confirmation aside the trading strategy. But for the one that uses only the trading strategy without extra confirmation, this is the profits that they made. And as you can see, my clients already tried to analyze the data by just trying to get the total, but they didn't know how they are going to like compile everything together and even create a dashboard and make informed decisions from this data. And this is the project brief from the stakeholders for each asset and each year. Which of the trading strategy is it, the one with extra confirmation or no confirmation, that provides better overall performance? We should identify months with consistently negative or significantly lower returns, so they know which months to avoid trading. So the first thing we're gonna do is to put the data, instead of having it in multiple tables like this, we just want to put the data into just one particular data table. So we're gonna add a new worksheet. In the new worksheet, we can have different columns. So the first column, I'm gonna call it pair. The reason why I have pair is because you can see we have different pair. This particular line is for V101X pair. For this one, we have jump 10, that's the pair. And for V10 index, we have like 3 pairs overall in this data set. So the first thing is, we have V101X, right? So for this pair, let's just type it here, V101S. Okay. So the year that we have for V101X, the first year is 2020, right? And we have January to December 2020, then 2021 January to December. What we are doing in this stage basically is what we call data preparation, because our data are not coming like properly arranged, Now we have to prepare our data first, right? I can easily just come here, copy the month instead of typing it manually and wasting time. And if you want, you can use VLOOKUP elements. So this is for 2020, and this 2020 I can just drag it down here. This is the whole of 2020, and this is the whole of V101X. So the one with extra confirmation, you can see I'm just working with this one alone now. For extra confirmation, I'll just copy the example January to December and here. And for confirmation, I'm gonna do the same, copy this and paste it right here in confirmation table. So we are done with this first table, right? This second table is still the same pair, V101X, but this is 2021, year 2021, January to December, right? So we come back to this sheet, right? It's still V101X, but this time around we have 2021, and it's still January to December. So using it, I can just copy it and use my January to December here. Let's drag this to 2021, and it's still the same V101X that we have, right? So now we just want to get the value for the extra profit for 2021 January to December. I'll come here, 2021, yeah, V101X, the profit for extra confirmation. Then we can just copy, paste it here. So you have to be careful and make sure that you are doing this properly. Remember, you are trying to guide the client's decision on their trading. So for 2022, we are just gonna do the same thing. All right, so I just finished arranging for V101X to 2025. So because September just like finished, there's no data for October, November, and December for the trading strategy, obviously. So now we're gonna move to jump 10 and jump 10. And then we're gonna have the year. So first year is jump 10 starting from 2021. So we're gonna have 2021 here. And then I'm just gonna duplicate the January to December, copy and come and paste it around here, right? And then we have the one with extra confirmation. You can come here, 2021, then you can copy it to this point. This is where we're copying total. So just forget paste. Then I'll come here, copy for the no confirmation. So just copy it and cut to paste. right? So once I'm done pasting, I'm just gonna drag this down for jump 10, drag this down for 2021. I'm gonna do the same, repeat the process for 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. I'm gonna also do the same for V10 index, so you can as well do the same. Okay, so we have everything compiled now. We have V10 1x from 2020 to 2025. I've done for jump and the V10 index to 2025. The next thing you want to do after your data preparation is basically to clean the data, right? To clean the data, I can already see like a data cleaning step around here where we have Fed instead of February. Moreover, I'd like to have these months as January, February, March, April written in full instead of Jan, Fed. I don't want that. I'm just going to highlight the column and press Ctrl H. Ctrl H is just to find and replace. So we're just going to basically find Jan and replace it with January. So remember that Jan is written I'm doing all of this here. So I'll just say look for Jan in this column and replace it with January. So you can see now that we no longer have Jan. It has replaced all Jan with January. Then if we want to change it to April. Okay, so this is all done now. I can close this tab. So to confirm that I actually changed everything, I just want to add filter to my data and come here to data. Then I'm gonna add filter, right? So the filter is just for me to look through the months I have. So you can see I made a mistake for the August. I don't know why one is adding January. I don't know why that is happening. So okay, now that we have our months intact, I think we are good with that data cleaning step. Another thing you just want to check is if we kind of have no value. You see that we have value in this column. So you can just check through the other columns. You can see we can basically just highlight the column and then create a pivot table and start with the analysis and help the stakeholder make informed decision. So you can see when I wanted to create the pivot table now, I'm kind of highlighting it at the top here. I did not do click at the first one, Control Shift, right arrow and down arrow key. This is only going to select the point of the data we have currently. Now you see, what I'm doing instead, what I did instead is to highlight the column. The reason after sending my client this spreadsheet, my clients might want to update the data. So let's say in 2026, my client has more data. My client can just come down here to keep pasting the data. So because I highlighted the entire column, once they are updating the data, the dashboard, they can just refresh it and it will reference the new updated data. So now we just come here to insert and then we're going to insert pivot table and okay. So now that we've created the pivot table, we now have to go back to the instruction or the business questions we were given. So we try to answer that during the analysis. So as you can see, we have a project brief that the stakeholder said to the file they sent us. So what they basically want to know is which of the two trading strategies, as you can see, which option, is it the one with extra confirmation or the one without confirmation, that will provide the better overall performance. By better overall performance, they mean the total profit percentage, as you can see here. So that's the first business question. And the second business questions, they want to know what months to avoid. They said identify months with consistently negative or significantly lower returns. So I can know which period to avoid trading. Right. So now that we understand the product brief, we are no longer working with this data set. This is the original one the stakeholder sent. So I'm just going to hide it so I'm not distracted. This is the data set I've compiled together that I'll be making use of. So I'm just going to rename it. Okay, so we're just going to call it data. So I'm going to drag data to the left. After data, I have my project brief. I'm going to drag it after. I like everything properly arranged or pivot table. So let's just call it analysis. Now we are answering the first business question to determine which is it the one with extra confirmation that works better or the one without extra confirmation that will give us the overall by the total profit percentage. So we'll come here, we'll select the pivot table. And here we have the pair. These are the different pairs that we have. I'm just going to click on the pairs. And the reason why we have blank here is because remember when we wanted to create the pivot table, we kind of selected those ones down here that we don't even have data here. So it's not like we have blank in our data set, but because we selected it like downward more. But there's a way where we can just remove this blank using functions. And I have a tutorial on that. You can check it up anyways, but I'm just going to use the shortcut of checking out the blank here. So you can see now that it's automatically removed it, right? So the next thing I want to do is we want to check for the extra so it's going to come to the value. So instead of just dragging it every time, if you select it, it's going to automatically arrange it for you. If you're not comfortable with how it is arranged on your pivot table, then you can now come here to start. Maybe you want it in the column instead of the rows, then you can now start dragging. But if you just tick it, it's going to assign it to wherever it's supposed to be. So now we can see from our table here that we have the different currency pairs with the total profit made from the one with extra confirmation. This is it for jump 10. You can see 573 is the overall profit percentage made all through the years. And for the strategy without confirmation, you can see 756. So it's safe to say that for jump 10, it's better that the stakeholder uses the strategy that does not require confirmation for jump 10 pair. And for this pair, V10 1x, is better based on the data that our stakeholder gave us. It's advisable that they use the strategy that requires extra confirmation before the trade is picked, which gives us the highest overall profit percentage. And for V10 index, you can see that it's also advisable they use the strategy that requires extra confirmation. This pivot table, we already gave answers to the first question that our stakeholder asked, that said we should determine for each of the assets, right? And each year, so for the each year, we're just going to add filters so they can navigate year by year and gain the insight for whatever year they want to check for. So for each of the assets, which option is it, the one with extra confirmation or no confirmation? Which one provides the better overall performance, right, by the total profit percentage? And that is just what we answered here in the simplest possible way. I'm going to remove this grand total because I don't think we'll be needing it. And if we'll be needing it, we can bring it back up. Okay, so this is what we have. We've answered basically the first business question. The next thing we want to do now is to answer the second business question. So the second business question says that they want to know what months to avoid. They said identify months with consistently negative or significantly lower returns, so I can know which periods to avoid. So we are just going to do, this is more like a trend analysis. We want to check out for the trend over time. And if you followed my 90 days data analytics series, I've told you the different charts to use when you're analyzing data based on the kind of insight you're trying to generate from the data. And if you said line charts for this scenario, you guessed very right. So we're going to be using line charts because this we're trying to analyze. We're trying to visualize a trend over time series data. You use line charts, is a better visuals for it. Come to the analysis, and we can just easily duplicate this pivot table right here. I'm just going to duplicate it and remove this, remove this, remove this. So we want to know what month. All right, so we want to know the monthly trend. Same here, I'm going to remove this blank. I'm going to hide it so we don't have to see it every time. Okay, so you can see now, so we want to know the monthly trend of by the extra confirmation and no confirmation. So we know, so from here, from the pivot table, we can already see that we have some months that we have negative. Whether we use the first strategy or the second strategy, we're going to get negative. And on July 2, right, we have a negative for the one that requires extra confirmation. In June, we have negative here. But we cannot just show what's the difference between having this and having the data table if this is what we present to as stakeholders. So we still have to put it on chart and on our dashboard, and that is what we are going to do next. So since we've answered the two business questions, we now go ahead to create charts. So for this, I would be using a bar chart, because it's more like comparison. So when you want to do anything that has to do with comparison, you use a bar chart. So you can see here, so I'm just going to use the sidebar. Yeah, I'm going to use something like this. So let's say, okay, I'm just going to sort it from smallest to largest. Okay, something like this. Okay, so you can see now for no confirmation, the sum of no confirmation profit. So you can see that for jump 10, it's best that our client uses the strategy that does not require confirmation just from the chart. For V10 1x, it's best for them to use the one that requires confirmation, and for V10 index, is best to use the one that requires confirmation. So that's what we just visualized, and that is what the data is telling our stakeholder basically. So after creating this chart, we'll go ahead to create a line chart also for this. Okay, so I'm going to select the pivot table. I'll come under pivot table here. I'll come to pivot chart, and I just want a line chart. Okay, so this is what the line chart looks like. I'm going to be using the one with points. Yeah, I think the one with points won't be bad. We can use, yeah, this one, stack lines with markers. Stack lines with markers. Okay, so I'm just gonna say, okay, so I could expand this now. So you can see here that we have, but this is for the overall pair, right? Because we've not specified whether we want it to be one pair or the other pair. This is for the overall pair. So what we can do as regard the pair is just drag the pair to the filters. So you can see now that we can now select only, I'll deselect all and select only jump 10. So it should show us for just jump 10. All right, so you can see the line chart for jump 10 to avoid February, because we're going to make losses in February. So May is like indifferent, and our profits over the years, we make more of the profits in July using with the strategy that does not require confirmation. Can you see that? Can you see that?
Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do now is just to make my work very neat. I just like to create another worksheet for my chart, and then I'm just gonna cut it from here and come paste it around here. All right, so first I can start by highlighting before pasting. Come here to view and remove the grid lines. Okay, so yeah, so I'm just going to have all of the charts that I created for my analysis. I'm just going to have everything together in somewhere around here, you get. So after having my chart, I just want to create my dashboard now. So we're just going to rename it dashboard. Okay, so for the dashboard, we want to remove the grid lines as well. We don't want to have it there. Okay, so time to create our dashboard now. First, we remove the grid line, and next, we are just going to add color to the background. So I'm just going to come to the home section while highlighting the background. You can see I highlighted the background, then I came here to the home background, and this is the fill color. Right here, I want to use this blue color right here. After picking my background color, I'm going to write the header for the dashboard. So I'm going to select a text box, and in the text box, I want to type trading analysis. Now we highlight it, the text, and increase the font. Okay, let's use 28 for this. Next thing I want to do is select the text box, come here to shape format. I want to remove the fill, that like the white background color. I don't want it to be there. I've removed it. And if there's any outline, I don't need it, so I'm going to remove it. Okay, so I'm also going to change the color for the text, right? Let me just move this to like the center or somewhere. I'm going to rearrange it later, basically. And we can also make it bold. Yeah, so let me just expand this. Let's bring in the chart that we have. So we have the first chart right here. I'm just going to copy it and bring it down here to the dashboard. Now we are good. Now we have to add some formatting to this chart now. First, I want to remove the background color. I'll come here to format. I want to say no fill. I don't want any fill at all. And for the outline, I also do not want any outline color. So this is what my chart currently looks like. It's not looking good because the blue line chart has taken the same shade with this blue. So I'm just going to double click on it. It's going to appear this one right here. Let me click out and click on it again. I can't even see it. Oh my god. Okay, I've selected it now. So now I want to change the blue color to green, and I want to change like this orange color to red. So you can see for the fill color, we selected the blue. I clicked on it, double clicked. Then I'll come here, change it from blue. I just want to change it to green. Okay, and this shade, okay, I also want to make it thicker. So instead of 2.25, let's see what 2.75 would look like. Okay, I think 2.75 is good, or maybe you can make it thicker depending on what you want. I'm also going to double click on this one and change the color to red, this red, and also change it to, this is the thickness of it, 2.75. Okay, and this is what we have now. So I'm gonna select the chart. I want to hide all these buttons. I'm just gonna hide report filter button on chart. Just click on this and hide. Okay, let's cancel this page for now. And for this value, I can decide to put it somewhere else, right? So I'm just gonna click on this plus button. You can see this is called the legends. So for the legends now, I want it to be at the bottom. Yeah, I think I'll prefer that. And then now I can expand my dashboard, my chart, I mean. Okay, so now we can expand this here. Okay, so the next thing is the text on this chart. I just want the text on this chart to be white color as well, because obviously I can't even see the black. So I'll change the text color from black to white. Okay, so now we can also reduce maybe like the thickness of the grid line or something like that. I'll just make it transparent, a little bit transparent instead. I think that would give me my desired results. 2% transparency, and then we change it to white. Does it still appear a little bit? How about 1% transparency? Okay, let's change this one to 0.25 back. Okay, and then we can increase the transparency a little bit. Let's say, I think we are good now. I like what I see now. So also, I want to hide this value. I want to hide this month right here. So now from this chart, a stakeholder can easily see the month that is not doing well. The red, they can see here what the red represents. Total strategy with no confirmation. I'm still going to edit all these text. I mean, my bad. So I'm still going to edit those texts. So let's try to first arrange some of our charts, and then we'll now edit the text from the pivot table. Is going to automatically change. So next thing, we want to bring in our second chart, which is this one. I'll just copy, come here to the dashboard and put it somewhere around here. Okay, so I want to remove this button. Okay, and for this as well, maybe I want to bring it down or somewhere, I don't know yet, but I just don't want it to be here. So let's come here to the legends, same way. Let's see how it will look like at the bottom left, top. Okay, I think it will not be bad at the top. Okay, so also we have to repeat the same formatting we did here to this one. Okay, so what we're going to do now first is to come here, remove the outline, maybe. I'll still need the outline. I'll come back to that. Remove the fill color. The outline, we need an outline. So I'm going to use white outline. But for the outline, I want it to be dashes. I'm going to pick these dashes and I just want it to be the weights. So let's say half. Okay. All right, so this is what we have currently. The text, I'll just want the text to be white. All right, good. And you can actually reduce the font for this one if you feel like it's too big. So maybe we can change it to 7 if we want. So, but you have to also do the same for others by changing them as well to 7, right? Okay. So now we want to change the color for the bars. Okay. So I'll double click. After double clicking, it's going to be changing it to the red color instead. So this red color here. And for the second bar, I can't see that anymore. But yeah, let's just, okay, now it's selected. I'll come here and change that one to green. Okay, so now we have our chart right here, and then we can, these lines here, we can do the same thing we did for the other one. We can make the width 0.25 and kind of make it more transparent. Let's say 15, just like we did for the second one. Okay, so for this one line here, also, I might want to reduce the to 0.25 and also like make it transparent. So I'm just going to select the chart itself and kind of expand it backward a little bit so it takes the whole container kind of. Okay, so now this is what we have. I'm going to be creating some KPIs for the overall value that we have for the one with extra confirmation, the one with no confirmation, and then once they apply filter, they'll be able to see what exact value for V10 index for the different pair is. Now I think I'll be needing the grand total I kind of removed the other time, so I'm just going to right click here, go to pivot table options, and under total and filters, I'm just going to show the grand total. And okay, so now we have our grand total back. So from the grand total here, I'm just gonna come, we can use this line or we can come anywhere around here. So I don't know if I should choose it here or just create a new row. So let's just insert a new row. Okay, so here I just want to do equals to and select this grand total. Okay, and right here I want to come here also equals to and select the grand total. Okay, so now that we have it, we'll come back to our dashboard and kind of like create a text box. So we'll come here to insert text box. So we're gonna create a text box, and in the text box now we're just gonna come here to the formula bar, type equals to, then come back to the analysis table and click on this value you just referenced and enter. So it's going to bring the value right here. So once we have the value in here now, I'm just going to select it and add the necessary filters, or maybe just duplicate it first because I would be needing it again. So I'm just going to do equals to and come back to the analysis to do for the second one. Okay, so now that we have that, now we are just going to select this and format it. So for the shape format, we want to remove the fill. You want to remove the for the outline, we're not removing it. Remember, we're going to be using dashes like I used here, and we're also going to be using the weight is half. Remember that, and the color is white, right? So for the shape format, the outline is white according to what we used here. So the next thing we want to do now is the text. We want to increase the font to, maybe 44 will be fine. Make it bold, put it at the center. I think we are good now. So now we want to just change the text color as well to white because we are using white text color. Okay, so now I think we are good in a bit with the formatting for this particular one. I kind of do not like the color of this background. I feel like it's too bright. So let me try something else. Let me try this other blue. I think so. I think this looks better, maybe because I kind of prepare like the darker shade of like dashboard design. So I mean, you can pick anyone you want, but yeah, I'm gonna continue using this. Okay, so this is the total profit. This is the total profit percentage for extra confirmation. So you can either write it in full or we can write it the way we've been writing it. Okay, so for this now we want to just go through the same process. I know you're tired of those processes already. I am too. So we can just put that somewhere around here. We can reduce the font so it just fits in perfectly. Let's do 9. All right, so now we can have something like this. I don't want this one to have outline. Why does it have outline? So I'm just going to do no outline. So yeah, this is just what we have. The total profit percentage for the one with extra confirmation. This is the overall profit. And we're just going to do the same for this as well. So I know you would have said, why don't I just like duplicate it and things like that? But if I duplicate it, it's not going to give me what I want. Do you know why? Because I used like a formula to generate it. So I have to like recall the formula and the settings will not be the same anyways. You get to find out. Just try to duplicate it so that you can find out yourself. So okay, so now we have the total profit percentage for the one with extra confirmation. Remember, this is overall. We've not added any filter yet. And this is the total profits for no confirmation. The thing we want to do now is just to add our filters now. So for the filters, I'm going to come back here to my analysis, click on this, and I'm going to insert slicer. So for the filters, I'm going to add the year as filter, the month, and also the pair, the different currency pairs that we have. So in the insert, you're going to find slicer somewhere around here. You click on slicer. I want to make the pair year, and month. So I need 3 slicers. So I'm just going to say okay. All right, so now we have our 3 slicers. I'm just going to shift press the 3 and control X to cut because it's not going to be here. It's going to be on our dashboard. So I'm just going to paste the 3 here. And now I'm going to separate them. So you move here, you move here, you move here. Okay, so the next thing now that I'm going to do is to format this so it aligns with the background that we currently have. So everything is not looking popped up and things like that. Remember, we want our stakeholder to focus more on the insights than our flashy colors and dramas. We don't want to be dramatic when we are creating our dashboard, right? So the next thing we want to do now is I'm just going to select this and I'll come here to slicer. In the slicer settings, I want to edit it. I'm going to be creating a new slicer design, new slicer style. So I'm just going to apply to the 3 automatically. So what we're going to do right now is to create this first slicer settings. I'm just going to copy this one right here, Ctrl C to copy, and then I'll come here and then I'll paste it. So now that I've pasted it, I'll just come here to slicer settings and look at the formatting I used for it. So you can see that this is like a custom design. Let me see if I can duplicate it. Now I just copied that slicer settings and I was able to duplicate it. So let me try to delete it now and see if we still have it here. So if I click here, come to slicer, come down here. Now you can see that we still have that slicer settings that I copied. So I know you're already wondering, so how do you expect us to copy? So what I'm going to do now is just modify it and show you the settings that I used that I could not remember. Okay, so now you want to go create your own custom style and give it a name. So under old slicer, you can come to the format. So in the format for the font color, you can see I didn't really make any change. But I think I changed the text color to white, as you can see here. And for the fill color, I used this blue. So this blue now, I'm actually going to change it now to this deeper shade because I'm using a deeper shade of blue for this tutorial. So I'm going to say, okay, so for the header, let me quickly show you so you can. So for the header, we didn't use any pattern. So the background color, you're going to change it. I'm changing it because of this, but you have to take note that the fill for the background, you have to change it. Then the font color, I think it's also white, as you can see. So we say, okay, so for the selected item with data, you can see for the fill, I used the sky blue. I'm going to retain the sky blue. And for the font, I used this deep blue, so I'm going to change it to this my new color. Okay, for this one, so you just use the color that I'm using. So let's just fast forward this part so we can wrap it up. Okay, so that's all we are going to be changing. So let's just say, okay, this is what we are looking for. So I'm just going to reduce this kind of down because up here we are going to have something that tells us to add filter here. So for the year, okay, so I don't want these blanks to be here. So how can I fix it? I'm just going to right click. Hold on. I don't want filters yet. I'm just going to right click and go to slicer settings, and I will hide item with no data to add outline to this chart. I'll add a white outline to it. And I'm also going to make it the dotted line like the previous ones we've been doing. Dashes, this, and then I'm going to make it, so instead of making this one weight half, I'm going to make it very, very tiny. So my aim is basically to drag it up to this point, so at least I can know at what point it is stopping. So now I can reduce this one till it gets to this point. Yep. So all we have left basically to do is formatting. So I'm also going to remove this blank by just repeating the process that I just did now. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same. So remember the slicer settings that you have now, make sure you save it when you first added it. Now you can just click and it's going to apply to every other slicer you have. So I'm just going to come here to this as well. The settings first, I want to hide items with no data. Okay, and I want to come here to slicer to add my slicer settings. So now you see that it looks a lot better, right? Let me know in the comment section if it looks a lot better or you disagree. But just know that if you disagree, now you have to come and create your own dashboard for me to see. Okay, so next, let me try to reduce this so it doesn't get to the point where we have our title. Okay, so now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create like a shape, right, and put all of these ones inside it. And also, okay, before I say also, let's do that first. So I'll come here to insert and I'll come here to shapes. Let's use this shape right here. Let's draw it. Okay, so this is the shape. For the shape format now, we're going to remove the fill, no fill. Can you see? And for the outline, we're just going to do the dashes, and then we're going to give it a weight of like half that we do use, and then just bring it down. Okay, so we forgot to change the color to white. Okay, so without the shape outline, this is what we have. I think this is like okay. So let me reduce this up here because I think it's too much. Okay, I know you're wondering why I'm taking so much time to do all of this paparazzi that might not very be important, but as much as I want my stakeholders to like gain insight into my dashboard, I also want to make it look very neat and presentable. I don't want to do dashboard and it's looking like, you know, it will not be nice. So I also want everything like aligned and things like that, look very presentable. Exactly. So that's why I kind of like work on the inside, take my time to work on the inside, and after that I also take my time to make sure that my design looks very, very good. I also want to like have like a demarcation to show where the month is starting. I think I did that for this first Excel file. You can see we have like a line showing where this one is ending. So to do that, you already know what to do. Okay, so now we just want to have this one, we just expand it a little bit and then bring this to the center here, and also probably expand it like a little bit. Yeah, and also expand this like this a little bit. Yeah, so let's bring it up, join it with this one, and join it with this one. Okay, once we are done, if you like it this way, you know, you can leave it like this. But if you don't like it this way, you can still proceed to like duplicate this shape we added, something like Control D to duplicate, and then you can do something like my bad, Control D to duplicate, and then you can bring it in somewhere around here, and then you just minimize it so it shows like a demarcation here. Control D, you can duplicate that and also like put it in the year column as well, something like this. So yeah, that's just that about that. So the next thing that would be left would be to, you know, is our filter working? So you can see that the filter is not connected to the line chart, but it is connected to the two other, like the KPIs and also this one right here. So just connect it to this chart. So we're just going to right click and report connection, and then we select the second pivot table. Okay, so I'm going to do that with the other sliders that we have. Connect it to the second pivot table. Okay, and then do it for the second one here, report connection, connect it. Okay, all right, so now that we've done that, so if we come to V10-1X now, you can see the chart for V10-1X, and okay, hold on, let me just click out. Okay, so now if we check for V10 index, you can see for V10 index, we can see that, oh, it's best that we use extra confirmation. The margin is a lot, and we can see the actual figures here, and we can see that July, September, November is a very bad trading month for my clients. And if they want to see for 2019 what's going on, you can see 2019, what happened in 2019. 2019, it is the no confirmation that worked perfectly for V10-1X. For 2013 to 2022, if they want to see for March what's going on with March, so for the March for the month, we don't want to connect it to the line chart. Do you know why? Because it's a line chart showing yearly trend, so let's just disconnect it. So I'm just going to right click, report connection, and disconnect it from the line chart. So if we click the month now, it's only going to work with these two charts. It's not going to work with that. Okay, we have to give our chart a title, something around here. So we can call this let me quickly spy on what I call this, monthly trend of total sales. I mean, let me even see if I could copy that so as to save time. Okay, so we have to like name our chart. Yeah, exactly. And see how we moved from the client's data that is very rough. We arranged the data to this point. Then we moved to answering the business question. Then we cleaned the data set, like we cleaned it very well, making sure that there's consistency and we are helping the clients make an informed decision. Then we have the project brief where we try to understand the problem at hand. And in the analysis, we basically try to, I don't know what this one is doing here. I don't know at what point I brought you here. So I'm just going to hide you. Okay, so for the analysis, this is where we just kind of like, you know, gained insight into the data. We try to understand using pivot tables, and then we created charts for the analysis, and finally we created a very nice dashboard. I hope this you find this very interesting as much as I did, and also make sure, do not forget to subscribe and like for more tutorials like this. If you want me to create a tutorial on any topic, you can let me know in the comment section. I always read through the comment section and listen to what my subscribers want. So thank you guys so much for watching and staying to this point. I'll see you guys on my next video, and bye for now.